Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out, episode 132. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. And welcome to a new affiliate that's now taking the Tech It Out radio show, WZGM, in the market, Asheville, North Carolina. This show airs on Sunday nights there from 5 till 6 Eastern, beginning this weekend. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy the program. Next week, we'll be joined by another new affiliate in the St. Louis, Missouri market, which brings the show to a new milestone. Effective next weekend, Tech It Out will air 100 times a week on 90 radio stations, as 10 of those stations air it twice. I'm beyond thrilled. We started this show in July of 2017 on 40 stations. Now we're up to 90 with 100 airings. So I am really, really excited. Plus, if you don't live in a city that takes this program, there's always podcasts, which of course you can listen to anytime, anywhere, and on virtually any device. All right. On this week's program, we have a treat coming up as we'll learn about Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet. This is a new TV show debuting on Apple TV+. In fact, it just debuted on Friday. We're going to talk with the star of the show and co-creators and executive producers. Also this hour, if you like celebrities, you're going to learn about Cameo. This is an app that lets you buy a personalized greeting from a celebrity to a loved one. It's a video shout-out, and there are thousands of celebs to choose from. I'm going to play you a bunch of examples as well. Also this hour, Austere will join us to talk about accessories, things like HDMI cables and audio video gear and power strips with surge protection and all that, but why design matters as well. We're going to learn what's new from Austere and what they're cooking up. That's towards the end of the show. All right, let's kick things off with this week's Tech It Out. A new show just debuted this week on Apple TV+, the popular streaming service. It's called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet. It's a comedy series from the folks who brought us Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This new show is about a video game development studio, a company working on an update to their wildly popular fantasy role-playing game. Now, hold up. You're probably thinking, wait a sec, that doesn't sound like a TV show premise that you've heard of before, and you'd be right. But let me assure you, it's hilarious. I caught the first 3 out of the 9 episodes. They're 30 minutes each, and it's all about the trials and tribulations of a team of highly skilled but very different employees at this company as they must please fans of the game and snooty critics and a lot more. Joining us on the line to chat is Rob McIlhenney. He's the co-creator and executive producer on the show, and he stars as one of the main characters, Ian. Not Ian, but Ian. And we also have on the line Megan Ganz. She's a co-creator and executive producer on the program as well. Welcome to Tech It Out. First of all, thank you for your time. It's a really big week. How do you feel, Rob? How's it going for you this week?
We are so excited. We had the pleasure of coming to New York for 4 days to do a ton of press, and we've been finished with the show for 6 or 7 months. So we're really excited for the world to see it, and we're so proud of it and happy to talk to people about it.
Awesome. And Megan, you are executive producer on the show as well and co-creator like Rob. This is a big week.
Oh, yeah. I honestly couldn't be more excited. I've actually never been on the first season, like the ground floor of any show. I've always joined in kind of after the ship is already running. So to be there from the beginning and go all the way from like having questions about, should characters be male or female and like how many characters and inventing new characters to all the way where it's done and dusted and we're like putting it out there. It's just been such an incredible journey.
Awesome. Congratulations. So let's just kick things off with the fact that gamers are likely one of the biggest audiences of this kind of show. I know it's more mainstream than that. And there have been many lousy video game related TV shows and movies in the past. Mythic Quest seems to get it right. I've watched a few episodes. I'm really enjoying it. Rob, what do you think the secret sauce is? How is this show appealing to gamers where many other attempts have failed?
Well, it was really important to us to get it right and to make it feel as authentic as possible. We had no interest in doing what we had seen before in terms of popular culture TV shows, movies and such that presented the industry in such a negative and so hacky light, to be honest with you. And also just it's simply not accurate. It's a global phenomenon. It's a global community. It's made up of all sorts of different people and disparate personalities and cultures and genders. And we wanted to reflect that accurately, which also meant not pandering to one side or the other. We didn't want to present the community as one thing, certainly not all just from a positive light. We also wanted to at least delve into some of the issues that the gaming industry is wrestling with right now, things like gender disparity and overall toxicity and labor-related issues, and make sure that if we went to either side of that spectrum, whether it's too positive or too negative, that it was going to seem pandering to a certain subset of the audience, mostly the gaming audience. And we recognized very early on that if there is one industry and one community that does not like to be pandered to, it is the gaming community.
Yeah, we're a tough crowd. Now, Megan, if you're a non-gamer, what do you think they'll get out of this show?
Well, we tried to make it, a typical workplace comedy in a lot of ways. People who are stuck together to make a common, to achieve a common goal. And whenever you have a great workplace comedy, like Sunny, for instance, you don't really care whether the bar is successful. You care about these people and why they're together. And so we just thought, well, if we specifically actually staffed the writer's room to be half gamers and half non-gamers so that we could make sure that every storyline appealed more broadly so that you would be able to watch a show and recognize your own workplace in it, whether you've worked for a boss with a little too much ego or you've been stuck with some people that maybe aren't your cup of tea. Like, hopefully you'll be able to watch the show and see that as well. And then the gaming specifics of it are, color for the world, basically. And we made sure we got those really right. And by partnering with Ubisoft, we made sure that we were really accurate to what it is like in those workplaces while still making it broad enough to appeal to a wider audience.
And when you said Sunny, of course, you're referring to Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a show that you worked on with Rob before Mythic Quest. Now, what was evident to me during the first couple episodes of the new series is that it really does break stereotypes. I think a lot of people in the mainstream think that a video game developer is a male, a little overweight, socially awkward, but it really does break stereotypes. There are women developers, there's a love interest there, a senior citizen who works at the studio, and then a cool guy. That would be you, Ian, with a ripped chest. Did you set out to shatter stereotypes, or did it just come naturally when all the writers got together?
What we set out to do was be as authentic as possible, and we realized that the gaming community, including the dev community, is made up of hundreds of thousands of people, and of course the gaming community is made up of millions of people from all over the world. So of course they're not all one thing. And so when we we really, again, under the auspices of not trying to pander, we sat down and, we're looking around at the television landscape, the movie landscape, and it does seem like there is a lot of discussion about diversity of cast. And so we were like, okay, look, we want to make sure that we're presenting this world in an authentic way and also not pander to the audience. There's a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of checking boxes for checking boxes' sake. And we believe that the audience is going to pick up on that and smell it from a mile away. And we realized, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do what's right for the show and what's right for the community. And what we realized is, as we were going through, that it was happening organically. When you walk into these game studios, that is what you see. And by the way, the fact that the vast majority of the older people are men, i.e., certainly CW, my character, David's character, and even Danny and Pootie's character to a certain extent, and most of the younger characters are women. That is very true, because what you're seeing is a real effort by the dev community, by the studios themselves, to bring in women. But it wasn't really something that they had been doing traditionally or historically. It's something they've been really endeavoring to do over the last 10 to 15 years. So, of course, there's going to be a lot more younger women and a lot more younger people in these entry-level positions, and eventually they're going to work their way up to become the executives that a lot of the men are. So, again, that was really us trying to make sure we were making it as accurate as possible.
And I know the show has already picked up for a second season, so congrats. Maybe we'll see the evolution of those younger female characters next year, so congrats. And I called you Ian in the show. That's the character you play. I love how it's not Ian, it's Ian. Totally fits the character. He's a bit of an egomaniac, and he thinks really, that he's like super smart. He runs the studio, so very funny. When we return, we're going to continue chatting with Rob McIlhenney and Megan Ganz, who have just launched a brand new TV show on Apple TV Plus. It's called Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet. It is a 9-part TV series that just debuted, a comedy series. Very, very funny stuff. When we return, we're going to continue chatting with them all about this new program from the same folks who brought us Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I think they've got another hit on their hands. And don't worry if you're not into games. I know it sounds like we're, chatting a little bit inside baseball and stuff like that. It is really great for anybody who enjoys the interpersonal sort of relationships within an office and the contrasts and personalities and all that. Really good stuff. But before we take a short break, I do want to thank ASUS, the title sponsor on this program. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, including its line of award-winning laptops, desktops, monitors, smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, and much more. For those in search of incredible, visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. And yes, you can call the company Asus if you want, but it is Asus, asus.com. And they also own the ROG, or Republic of Gamers, brand of gear as well. All right, we'll be right back with more Tech It Out. Stay with us on the Radio America Network.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We are chatting with Rob McIlhenney and Megan Ganz, both of whom are co-creators and executive producers on the brand new Apple TV Plus comedy series Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet. Rob is also the star of the show, or one of the stars of the show. He'll be modest and say that he's one of. He is Ian in the show, or Ian, if you see it, how it's spelled out, I-A-N, but pronounced Ian. And he is sort of the head of the studio, if you will, the creative vision behind the game. So a real pleasure to have you both, Rob and Megan, on Tech It Out. Thank you for your time. Second last question, and we'll start with you, Megan. This show has been referred to as The Office for video gamers. Do you like that analogy? And I think that's both because the way it's shot, in part with a bit of a documentary style lens, as well as the interaction between characters with different personalities. Or do you take issue with that comparison?
No, I'll take that. One of the most successful sitcoms of all time. Yeah, sure. We're just like them.
Rob, does that hit a nerve for you, or do you like that comparison?
I feel differently than my partner, but that's what makes us such a great team. We're always disagreeing, and that's what makes it work. Because I bring a perspective, she brings a perspective, and we always try to find something in between that works for both of us. No, I feel like we really wanted to do something different. And, of course, you're always going to be standing on the shoulders of giants, right? I mean, I look at the show, and I feel like it has traces. Sure, it has traces of The Office. It's undeniable that it would have traces of Silicon Valley because the tech aspects, it has traces of Sunny in it. But then once you start talking about those shows, you realize, well, Sunny is basically just a ripoff of Seinfeld. And then some of the character dynamics are that of Friends, or really any workplace comedy. So I try not to compare ourselves to any other show that's been out there, aside from the fact that the truth is we're all ripping each other off. That's just kind of the way it goes. I guess the nicer way of putting that would be that we are inspired by so many great shows that have come before us, and that's just undeniable. But the true thing is that we're all just ripping each other off.
Also, in terms of, I think one of the great things that shows like The Office and Friends have done is that they introduce us to new actors that maybe you didn't see before, and you're allowed to, with these relative unknowns, to really believe them as these characters and fall in love with them and discover them. And I think quite nicely with using we have a casting director, Jeannie McCarthy, and she found us these actors that maybe you haven't seen so much on television, and they are all so strong. And I'm just, in that way, I'm really excited to see people discover them. So
that's something I 100% agree with my partner on.
Yeah, fantastic chemistry in the cast for sure. And I think in The Office, I don't think a lot of them wanted to be there. They kind of phoned it in, and that was kind of the humor of it. They didn't love their job. Where I think with Mythic Quest, I think everybody is super passionate about the role within the dev studio represented there for the most part. So I think it's maybe not the most fair reference.
Well, that's also by design. I mean, and we wanted to do something that was the opposite of Sunny. And Sunny, they're all stuck together because of their abject failure. Whereas this show, they're all stuck together because of their extreme success. And it might be difficult. They might struggle. They might oftentimes hate each other, but they realize that they need each other to continue to make the greatest video game in the world.
Yeah, and I love the contrast between those who are looking at profitability and monetization and those who are on the artistic or creative side of the game development. Last question. In the first episode of the first series, a few of the characters share their favorite best video game memory. One was Contra, Grand Theft Auto, Ms. Pac-Man. So I'll start with you, Megan. What is your best video game memory and why?
Well, I grew up with N64, so that was like my console that took me from being a kid all the way through college. I was still playing that. And my favorite game was Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Awesome.
It was just so beautiful, and the music and the storyline. And I remember there was a character in it that was revealed to be a woman like later in the game. And I was just like, oh my God, this is, so I played that for years and years. That was my big first video game that I fell in love with.
Awesome. How about you, Rob?
I would say that the first gaming experience that I fell in love with was also Zelda, except the original Legend of Zelda. Because it really felt, I was like 10 years old, and my neighbor had it. And I just remember obsessing about it when I was in school. I couldn't wait to get home and go over to his house, because it just transported you to another world. But as an adult, I would say the greatest gaming experience I've ever had is a game called The Last of Us. Which really takes, of course, that was the first time that I was almost experienced as if it was a narrative experience. Like I was certainly engaged in it, but I was on the edge of my seat wondering what was going to happen next, and actually felt emotionally impacted by the story throughout the entire experience. That was just mind-blowing to me.
Awesome. All right. The Last of Us is, of course, PS4, and Legend of Zelda debuted back in the mid-'80s for the Nintendo Entertainment System. So a little bit of history for those who are listening, or some food for thought for those who are looking for something fun to play. Rob and Megan, congratulations once again. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure chatting with you both.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest.
If you don't have Apple TV Plus yet, it is available on the Apple TV app, which is on the iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, iPod Touch, Mac, select Samsung and LG smart TVs, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku devices, as well as tv.apple.com. For $4.99 a month and a 7-day free trial, you can't go wrong. The Apple TV app will be available on Sony and Vizio smart TVs later this year as well. And for a limited time, customers who purchase a new iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, Mac, or iPod Touch, you can enjoy 1 year of Apple TV Plus for free. That special offer is good for 3 months after the first activation of the eligible device. When we return on Tech It Out, we are going to chat with Cameo to learn how you can have a celebrity give a video greeting, a shout out to your loved ones. We'll be right back.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. With Valentine's Day fast approaching, you might be scratching your head as to what to buy your significant other. Well, if that special someone in your life has a favorite actor, musician, sports star, YouTuber, or maybe a famous chef, you might consider using Cameo. It's billed as the first service that lets you book a personalized video greeting from a celebrity. Joining us on the line to tell us all about it is Stephen Galanis. He's the co-founder and CEO of Cameo. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't we start off right from the top? What is Cameo all about?
Cameo is a marketplace where you can buy a personalized video message from over 20,000 different athletes, actors, or celebrities.
More than 20,000. Wow. So I was at cameo.com and I had a chance to look through the roster that you've got, and it is very impressive. I'm going to play a couple of clips in a few moments of what they may sound like when you're getting one of these video greetings. So that's quite a bit. And what kinds of greetings could they give? Is it a birthday? It could be a graduation. I said earlier Valentine's Day, but it really could be anything, right?
I dare you to find an occasion that you can't use Cameo for. We've seen everything from happy birthdays to gender reveals. Recently, somebody used one to break up with their girlfriend.
Ouch.
Marriage proposals, roasts, you name it, we can do it.
All right. So this is a celebrity that you choose as the person giving the gift. You would choose what you want them to say approximately, or the person's name. And the celebrity then, I guess, uses their phone from the looks of it. They use their smartphone and then they send the person or it's done through Cameo, but they record the greeting for that person. That's essentially how it works. You choose the topic, roughly what they should say, and their names, right? And then they take it from there.
Yeah, as the customer, you go to cameo.com, 20,000 talent. You find somebody you like. Every talent has set their own unique price. When you select the person you want, as the booker, you get 250 characters, so roughly the length of a tweet, to give the celebrity the idea of what you want them to say. Now, the fun about Cameo is that we want the talent to be their authentic selves. So you're going to give them the gist, but really the magic is them taking your words and turning it into this great piece of content.
Can you give us a couple of examples of celebrities who have partnered with Cameo to give these video greetings?
Yeah, I mean, we run the gamut from Snoop Dogg and Charlie Sheen to people like Mike Ditka and Brian Urlacher. So we run the gamut from Real Housewives and YouTubers. You name it, we probably have somebody in that vertical.
All right, with that in mind, let's listen to a couple of examples. You mentioned Snoop Dogg, so let's start there.
David, what up, though? This big Snoop Dogg. Shout out for me and your dad, Stan the man. Hey, man, 25 years old, over there in the Air Force doing it big. We appreciate you. Fly to friendly skies.
All right, that was Snoop Dogg, of course, and here's an example of a Charlie Sheen video greeting.
Eli, how we doing? It's Charlie. Happy 25th birthday. Not only from myself, but from your beautiful fiance, Gemma, and your adorable daughter, Arna. And let me just say, may your birthday be as amazing as you are. I gotta tell you, I see great things for you. You have an amazing talent. And I wish diamond tiling and waterproofing great success and pursue your goals. That said, have the best birthday, my man. Right on. I'm out.
And then there's Colin Mockery.
Hi, I'm Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway? I can do anything from birthday wishes to anniversary wishes to firing someone for you. With a grin.
With a grin, no less. And finally, even Tom Arnold is on board.
Hey, this is Tom Arnold. I'm very excited to do some shout-outs for you guys and do some fun things for people. I've been in 130 movies, 4 good ones, and I love talking to people, and I'll do well, I think. Thank you, guys.
All right, Stephen, so that was a couple of examples of what it sounds like. But again, we're talking video greeting, so I don't want people to think it's only a recording that you would put on your voicemail. This is a video greeting where you see that celebrity giving you that shout out. And how do you get that? I mean, if I gift it to my wife, Kelly, for example, does she get a link in an email, or does she need an app, like a Cameo app, to watch that?
Yeah, so when you receive a video, as the purchaser, we're going to text it and email it to you. And it's always best to watch them in the Cameo app. So I would say when you do receive one, it is great to download it in the app and watch it there, because then you can very easily download it onto your phone and post it to Instagram or Facebook or anything like that.
All right. And I gave some examples of edited shout-outs or video greetings, but how long is each one typically? A few seconds, a minute?
On average, they tend to be between 30 seconds and a minute, but we've had a Cameo go as long as 51 minutes, and they've been as short as 3 seconds. So it totally depends on what you ask for, and I guess also the talent that you're selecting.
We're chatting with Steven Galanis, co-founder and CEO of a company called Cameo. It's an app and a website, but essentially it's a video greeting service that has a celebrity do a short video clip for you from the likes of Snoop Dogg, Gilbert Gottfried, Charlie Sheen, Brett Favre, even Motley Crue's Tommy Lee, and many more. So you heard some examples of it, and as you said, Steven, the cost is up to the celebrity to choose, but it's all transparent. It'll say, $150 for that or $300 for that.
The average video is actually $60, so they're a lot more affordable than you'd expect. Prices range anywhere from $5 to $2,500.
Okay, who's that $2,500 one?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Ah, okay. It sounds like there's something for all budgets. And how long is the turnaround time, or does that also vary on that celebrity?
The celebrity, the average video gets turned around in about 24 hours, but the talent have up to 7 days to do them. So if you're buying one, give us about a week to turn it around, and that ensures you got maximum time for them to do a great job for you.
Cool. Finally, what's next for Cameo? What are your plans for 2020 and beyond?
Well, the most immediate thing is they recently sold our building, so we're trying to find a new home. We've got about 100 employees here in Chicago that we're trying to find our next home for, so that's kind of top of mind. But on top of that, we're just always excited to keep growing our talent roster and, hire great people. For those of you listening that are interested in working for us, cameo.com/jobs. We've got all of our open headcount up on the website.
Okay, cameo.com or cameo.com/jobs if you're looking to work for the company. There's also the Cameo app for both iOS and Android devices?
Correct.
Okay. Steven Galanis, thank you so much. Good luck with the app. I think it's a great idea, and I hope our listeners enjoyed some of those examples. But they can see many, many more with video at cameo.com. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Check it out. Hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. While they may not be a household name yet, Austere is a company that's creating technology accessories that's turning a few heads, especially among home theater enthusiasts and computer users and gamers alike. We're talking high-performance HDMI and audio cables to advanced power strips with surge protection to even cleaning products. Joining us on the line to chat is Dina Gazarian. She's the CEO and founder of Austere. Welcome to the program, Dina.
Thanks, Mark. I'm really happy to be here.
So why don't we dive right in? What is Austere all about, and what separates your company from other accessory brands?
Absolutely. So Austere was founded with the thought of design and innovation coming together to create a better product at a value that really everyday consumer can afford if they wanted to buy something that had a little bit more to it. So let me break that down on what that means for you.
Please.
I've been in the accessory space for a very long time. So most of my career was within accessories. Ironically, I was in fashion before CE. And in being in fashion, I was also the accessories world. So this whole idea of an attachment to another product is kind of in my blood. So that's number one. Number two, being in the space for a really long time, when I left for a little while and I had a lot of retail partners come to me and say, hey, there's a gap in the market. Can you look at it and see if it's something you'd be willing to create a brand around? We did a lot of homework, and sure enough, they were right. There is this gap right now in the market specifically for home, where you've got a lot of those great cable companies at the super high end. I think they've been around for a long time, tend to be pretty audiophile. And then you've got commodity at the low end, really with Amazon Basics kind of leading the way, or potentially private label. And there was really no in between. And that's where we saw this opportunity to say, let us come in with a brand that actually tells a story for a value reason that you would want to step up and buy. And that's really how Austere came to be. We decided, let's look at what's out there in the market. It's either plastic or boring, to be honest, or it's super high-end, gold, blingy, etc. And there was really nothing in regards to where the home was going. Home has been focused really on sleek design. I don't know, the whole Marie Kondo thing and stripping back all of that excess and coming it down to something very simple was really kind of rooted in why the brand came to life the way it did, why we chose the name Austere. And it's really kind of set us forward in regards to that product that we are developing.
One of the latest products that I received from your PR folks, it was a power strip, but not one that I've seen the likes of before. I mean, this looked like it was a power strip on steroids. Tell us about it.
Well, that's my baby. Let me explain to you how Austere Power came to be. One of the things that is the most frustrating for me about Power is the fact that the functionality of Power and where it has stopped in regards to innovation is probably like 5, 6, 7 years old. That's kind of number one. Number two, the look and design of most Power out there is very plastic, very ugly. Yes, I know sometimes it's hidden, but like if you use my office as an example, for a long time there, I had a strip on top of my office desk that had all of these plugs plugged in. Half of the time, the plug spacing wasn't right. So if I had bought myself a 12 unit or an 8 unit, I was really only getting, 8 units or 6 units into it because of the transformers that have now come with just about every electronics device. On top of it being that it was plastic, it was ugly. I was trying to hide it, but then there was all this chaos on my desk. It really wasn't thinking about the functionality of the user as well as the look and feel, because most people, when they set up their own home office, don't have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to have some integrator come and set up, right? You actually kind of set it up that way. By the way, home theater is somewhat that way too. So when we looked at Power, I said, listen, Power is one of those things that I was kind of born and raised on in the industry. I want to take the best of what's in chassis Power, bring it down into what I would think is a beautiful strip that has that awesome innovation in it, and really provide it at a good value price where the consumer's like, wow, look at everything I'm getting at this value of a price.
And what's the name of the product?
So we have a 5 series and a 7 series. A lot of our lineup, by the way, there's either 3 series, a 5 series, or a 7 series. So it's Austere Power 5 series, Austere Power 7 series. The 5 series is a 6 outlet and an 8 outlet. And then the 7 series also has a 6 outlet and an 8 outlet. The differentiation between the two are our different joule levels that we have in order to protect your components. And then more importantly, we have one of my favorite functions is in the 7 series. We've included what I would call as a PD watt charger that is at 45 watts. And that power disbursement charger allows you that capability of charging any device with just a USB-C cable. So in a gaming or a home office environment, you basically get to charge your Apple laptop or I have a Lenovo ThinkPad directly USB-C right into that device. No big 65 watt transformer anymore to carry around. Just a clean, simple cable. Oh, it's so fantastic.
So you mentioned the word joules earlier, and that's, if I'm not mistaken, a measurement of energy. So is there anything that we're supposed to know or look for as consumers when we're shopping for a power strip or any other related accessories?
Yes. So I'm a little embarrassed to tell this story, but sometimes the best solving of problems are rooted in embarrassment. So I'm just going to go for it. So again, I sold Power. It's one of those things that I first sold in my entire career. And when we were out there selling Power, we would say joules are important, that you need joules, right? That's where surge protection comes from. But we didn't talk about what happened with joules over time. So the way I like to train on it and teach now is joules are kind of like an ATM bank account, right? So if you think about a bank account, you would get a certain amount of money or a certain amount of joules that are in that bank account. And every time you take some sort of a surge, a brownout, a blackout, an actual lightning surge, these little kind of like zips that you get throughout the day, those draw down your joules.
I like that analogy. That's good. When we return, we're going to continue chatting with Austere. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the Radio America Network.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Check It Out whenever you want.
You're listening to Tech It Out, powered by ASUS. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. We're chatting with Dina Gazarian, CEO of Austere, a company with a passion to challenge the status quo in technology accessories. The word austere, unless I'm mistaken, means simple, minimalist, but functional.
That is correct. Spot on.
Let's pivot and talk HDMI. Many people I know will go go to their local dollar store and they'll pick up an HDMI cable for their, 4K TV, and between that and their components like, a cable box or what have you. What are the differences in HDMI cables that we should know about? Is it length? Is it shielding? Is it speed? All of the above?
It depends. So it depends honestly, it depends on your hardware. So if we start with that, and I'll use 4K as an example, one of the most critical things about 4K, and this is how I break it down for an everyday user, right? Everybody could talk speeds and feeds. To be honest with you, HDMI sets those speeds and those feeds, and you're either certified to meet them or you're not. So we certify our product to make sure that we are meeting the needs of what HDMI agrees upon, number one. And number two, in our 1.5 and 2.5 meters between the 3 series, the 5 series, and the 7 series, I was a big believer in that when you pull that cable out of the box, having it work for you where you can pick it up and plug it in versus having it be directional. So I don't care which end you plug into the TV and which end you plug into the source, it should work for you. And HDMI allows that certification in that type of product, where some of the different product out there is directional. It doesn't give you the best messaging of the way to plug that in. And let's face it, some consumers don't really even look at that. I had one of my best product guys in the world take a cable, plug it in, couldn't figure out why it couldn't work. And it's because the direction was the wrong way.
And you're also 8K ready, right?
Yes, so I was going there. So actually, we have our first 8K cable that shipped this week, actually. So we launched on Tuesday. We are officially shipping 8K, which meets the new Ultra HD standards. Again, allows you to be bidirectional, and then more importantly, fits the standards of what HDMI is requiring for you not only to get the right picture, but both in 4K and in 8K, and they call it ARC in 4K and eARC in 8K. My biggest thing, if you think about the average day consumer right now, is streaming is a big deal for them. They want to be able to watch on their smart TV. They want to be able to have streaming go. And sometimes the misstep between those two is that if you do not have the right certified cable, which by the way in 4K is 2.0B, and 8K it'll be 2.1, your voice and your picture may not sync. And that is the biggest complaint out there that the consumers have in regards to streaming. And they think it's something wrong with the TV or the Wi-Fi, and it's not. It really is the HDMI cable that's the problem.
Okay. So this is all very helpful information. I know that our listeners can go to the Austere website to read more about each of these different categories. We didn't even get to the cleaning products. And I love that quote, by the way, that IGN gave you. This is what a surge suppressor might look like if it were designed by Apple. So that's a huge compliment on this style front. So as we wrap up, the website is austere.com. So that's AUSTERE.com. And you can also link to shop from there, right? Is there a preferred retailer that you'd like to go with, or you just click shop and you can buy direct?
You can buy direct. But currently, Austere in the United States can be found at Crutchfield, Cons, BrandSmart, PC Richard & Son, and Apt Electronics.
Okay, that's great. All right. And then again, austere.com, AUSTERE.com. All right, Dina, thank you so much again. Dina Gazarian of the company. And thanks for everything.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's Tech It Out, episode 132. We first spoke with the co-creators and executive producers and a star from Mythic Quest. Raven's Banquet just debuted on Apple TV+. I hope you enjoyed that. Then we caught up with Cameo. This is a new app that lets you hire a celebrity to give a shout out to friends, family, or coworkers. You tell them kind of what you want them to say, and they kind of wing it from there. And it ranges from $60 all the way up to $2,000 or $3,000, depending on the caliber of talent you're interested in hiring and based on your budget, of course. And then finally, Austere joined us to talk about design meets functionality when it comes to accessories for computers and your home entertainment gear as well. This program, Tech It Out, is powered by Asus for those in search of incredible. And that includes their line of award-winning laptops, desktops, monitors, smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, and much more. Asus creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. To see these products in action, including the ROG or Republic of Gamers line of gear, simply visit asus.com/US/radio. That's asus.com/US/radio. If you have any feedback on Tech It Out, maybe you want to suggest a topic or a guest, an interview that I could host in the near future, you can hit me up privately. I'm at tech@marksaltzman.com, TECH@MARCSALTZMAN.com. KLTZMAN.com, or on social media. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Looking forward to catching up with you next time on the 133rd episode of Tech It Out. Bye-bye for now.